Alright, so I'm back with this Lenovo ThinkPad P16 Gen 1. The customer, I guess that little tiny, very, almost imperceptible or whatever word you use to see dent that they caused to it was bugging them enough that they wanted to replace it. Like, I can barely tell. It's right, okay. There, okay. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Okay, I guess you can kind of see it. So that little dent was bothering them enough that they wanted to replace this whole thing. So I'm starting back with all the parts removed that needed to be. We do need to disconnect this cable. That's for the power button, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we'll flip this latch. If you're wondering how I know what to remove, because this is my first time taking apart this computer this way, okay? Anyways, you pull this tab up slightly and then pull it back. That's how you disconnect that cable. We're also going to have to disconnect the touchpad cable here, okay? So let me zoom in. All right, we'll flip this latch up. And then this blue tab you can use to kind of lift it up slightly and then pull it back, and hopefully, there we go. Okay, so if you're wondering how I know how to take this thing apart, what I do is I take a look at the replacement. Okay, the customer actually bought all the replacement parts for me to swap out. You can see this one's actually a good part. It has all the magnets and everything. I don't have to worry taking them out. You can see how the touchpad's held in. There's 3 screws going to be here. There's 2 screws on either side there. That's how the touchpad's held in. There's nothing else under here, as you can see. I don't know if this is supposed to be double-sided adhesive or it's just I think it's just a pad. As you can see, when I push it, it kind of leaves my fingerprint temporarily. So it looks like kind of a memory foam kind of thing. But you can see how these little tabs are holding in place. And these clips, they all hook in this way. If you look at this, the hooks go in the opposite direction. So to get that out, we're most likely going to have to go from the inside here and kind of pull this that way. And then this one we're going to have to pull the other way. And then once we get all these clips out, actually these clips, so you slide this way, and then this one, it looks like you pull back. So basically when you pull back, it should slide these out as well. You can see the power button has 2 screws holding it in place. We are also going to be replacing the GPU on here. I guess I let the customer know that there's a removable GPU here, and I guess they wanted to check for an upgrade. I don't know what the original is or what the upgrade is, but I guess we'll find out. We are going to have to pull the heatsink out, and hopefully it doesn't use some crazy paste, because I don't think the customer brought me some special paste to put back in here. So I'm going to just use what I got, and hopefully it doesn't run hot or anything. If it has liquid metal, I don't know how I'm going to transfer that over to the new GPU. And I think the customer told me that they drove from like 2 hours away, so that's pretty far. Anyways, let's go ahead and see about popping this up, okay? Hopefully this information I gave you helps you with any future computers. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm pulling the case in this way, and you can see we can pop these clips out. Okay, and then these, the clips were kind of like hooking that way, I think, so we're kind of pulling this inwards. All right, if it doesn't come out, I'm going to have to look at this side's kind of stuck here. So if I look at this, the clip is here. And yeah, it kind of like hooks out towards the side, but then they have these little tabs here. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to pull that out. I guess we just got to use a little force, or maybe like twisting it this way. Let's see. Yeah, wow, these are tough. They're not popping out at all. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I kind of like pulled up and then kind of pushed this whole thing inwards, and you can see we got that. Let's see here. And all these other cables shouldn't be attached. I think it's just the power button. Oh, there's a bug. Oh, is that B? B somehow is in here. Anyways, so we got these clips, and again, I think we just got to pull them back slightly. Let's see. These are going to be tough, aren't they? I'm scared I'm going to break something. Okay, so I'm pulling this back as I'm kind of lifting up. Okay, and that is working for some of them. I got to kind of get in this gap, maybe if I can. No, that makes it less room. I got to pull this forward slightly so I can kind of reach in here. And then, yep, that's working. Continue working, and you can see we're getting these clips out a lot easier. Oh my god, what's wrong with this one? This one's stuck. Okay, there we go. And the last Oops, I clipped this back in on accident. Come on, come back out. There we go. And again, I'm trying to pull this in towards the center while trying to lift. I don't know why this side is so tough. Am I missing something here? There's just this one clip. There's this little circle that usually will get caught in something and make it difficult. Maybe this clip here is also kind of making it tough. And then there's another one here. So, jeez. Okay. Come on. Okay, that clips out. So maybe now I can slide this. What in the world? Just that one, excuse me, last clip here. I don't know what's going on with this last one. It really doesn't want to budge. I'm pretty sure we got all the rest. You see this? It's coming out. What is with this last portion here? It really doesn't want to budge. And I don't think I can do anything from the other side. No, unless I pull the whole heatsink out, which I will have to do eventually. But I kind of want to do that without having to do that, because most people that are just changing this piece aren't going to be changing the whole. There we go. Okay, so here we go. We got this piece out. Like I said, you can see the screws under here. We're going to swap those out. Here you can see underneath how the wires all go in, the speakers and everything. Okay. I try not to do too much extra stuff more than necessary because I don't want to risk damaging anything, especially with a customer where that very tiny dent is enough for them to feel like they want to replace the whole part. I don't know, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, here you can see this. Oh no, we have to get underneath here to get this screw out. So they're using some adhesive to hold this, I'm pretty sure. So we gotta peel that up. All right, let's close this. I'm gonna set this aside. I gotta be very careful because I don't want to get any marks or anything on this, even barely noticeable. Okay, so hopefully that's good right there. Okay, we're gonna be removing the touchpad right now. And most likely we need a PH0, JS0 screwdriver. So we're gonna switch to that. Let me zoom in here just so we focus on the touchpad. Oh no, am I recording with it kind of jittery? I don't know. Hopefully you're able to see what's going on. All right, if your PH0, JS0 screwdriver isn't working, you might need to use a smaller PH00, JS00. Make sure when you use the screwdriver that it's holding in tight and it's not wiggling in the screw. If your screwdrivers aren't doing a good job of that, I can send you a referral link to, or whatever it's called, to these iFixit ones on Amazon. They're pretty good. There's like smaller sets that are really cheap. I've been using like this tinier set. I actually use bits from another set because I have my bigger set. So this is, I use this box from another company and I put a bunch of the iFixit bits in there. The iFixit bits actually work better. They're more sturdy. They hold up a lot better. But I use them interchangeably. They're usually pretty good. All right, so there we go. We got all those screws out. Let's go ahead now and lift this. So lift this slightly, and then you can slide this out. There you go. Touchpad, trackpad, very easy to swap or to remove. We're going to carefully set this aside here, and then we'll get the power button out. All right, be very careful with this kind of stuff. All right. I'll rarely get customers that are that worried about how perfect condition it is, because if you think about it, that tiny little dent, you carry it around, you're probably going to get another tiny little scratch or dent in it pretty easily. So I know how it is though, when you get like really nice new stuff, you kind of want it as perfect as possible. All right, so this piece, it's kind of, yeah, it had some adhesive there, so we're just going to hold this slightly out of the way. I don't want to peel it up too much. And then we're going to undo this screw. What is going on? Give me a second. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So we took the two screws out. We should be able to just pop this thing out. I'm going to get underneath here. Okay, and there we go. Oh, so interesting. You can see how the button, it's wrapped around here, and it's on this metal plate. That's interesting. Okay, anyways, this is the old one. We'll set this aside. The customer will probably want this just in case. in case they scratch up the new one worse. Oh, I didn't look at, so remember the touchpad had this? So the old one also has that, but there's a bubble on it. So the new one's actually better condition in terms of that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and put the power button back in here. So I guess it's a little tricky. You gotta line everything up. Okay, actually it's not too difficult. Just line it up. Hold it in place. Get the screw in. And I'm assuming putting it back is going to be very easy because you don't have to worry about the clips. You just push down on it. But we'll see. All right. Lift this up. Put this guy in. All right. And there we go. We can go ahead and stick this back down. Okay. Now we'll go to the touchpad here. Should be pretty simple to put back. Basically just the reverse of how we took it out. So this goes at an angle, slide this under, lower this down, everything lines up, and then just get all the screws back in. Again, obviously you have to switch back to the PH0, JS0. If I didn't mention it earlier, use the PH1, JS1 on the power button / fingerprint reader sensor thing. All right. Let's go ahead and get these screws going. Okay. So this piece is pretty simple to reassemble. The hardest part, again, is just getting all these little clips out. If you don't know what you're doing, you probably just brute force the whole thing and damage these clips or damage the part that it clips into. And then after that, you're going to end up having the case be a bit wobbly. So hopefully you didn't do that. Hopefully you were able to follow along and safely remove it the way I showed. Okay. Let me see, does the other one have this? Okay. I was looking at the mesh where the speakers are. Sorry, I know I'm zoomed in so you couldn't really tell what I was talking about, but I'll show you in a bit. Okay, make sure these screws are in nice and tight. But because this piece is pretty thin, don't over tighten it. It's kind of hard to describe how tight to do it. But yeah, all right. I was looking at this, I'm like, is that normal? I wasn't sure if there was something else supposed to peel off, but that's the same on the original. So the replacement one that the customer has, you can see it has these things of tape on it to keep it nice from factory. I'm gonna peel these off. Okay, here. All right, and carefully. The only thing with this is now they no longer have the Intel sticker here. If that's important to you, I don't know. Some people actually don't like that stuff because then it makes a weird raised bump there that bothers them. I'm going to transfer this over to the old one. Okay, there's the old one, just to kind of protect the part if for some reason they want to reuse this or something. I don't know. All right, so this, line up that circle there, get this lined up. I don't know, it's not that important, but that, line this up, and yeah, good enough. Okay, so there we go. There's the old one. We'll set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the computer, and we'll now put this one in. Oh, that scared me. There was like some gunk stuck on there. Actually, oh, that does not look good. The screw, it goes in, that's not good. I don't think the customer's gonna be happy with that. The screw, even though I didn't like tighten it crazy tight, let me show you what I mean here. The customer's probably gonna be like, put back the other one after that. The one nice thing with this is only 3 screws are holding this in, and then the keyboard. But if you look at this, I think that screw, it made a little dimple there. That's insane. I put the same screw back where I got it, so that alone there's very, very little tolerance there. Maybe the customer can, if it bugs them enough, which it probably will. See that? I don't know if you can see at certain angles. I'm going to let the customer know because that's annoying. They're probably going to have the manufacturer send them another one. And then, yeah, I mean, I put the same screw. I put them in a pattern. So unless they can shave this down or this needs to be raised higher, it's going to do it again, even with the replacement one. I'm surprised it didn't. I don't think it happened with the original one. I wasn't looking that close in that area. Where's that? That's on this side. Yeah, it's not like that on this one. So I don't know. All right, well, I'll let the customer know, and then we'll see. It's easy enough to swap it. The only problem is, I think they said they're heading out for a trip, or they needed something for, I don't know, and they live 2 hours away, so that's very annoying. All right. Oh my god, I hate when parts have those kinds of weird issues. Who would have thought putting back the same part, and it looked like an official part from Lenovo. Who would have thought that would have that kind of issue? Yeah, that's gonna be annoying. If that little dent before annoyed him, this is definitely going to. And I don't think there's a way I can push that inwards. Did that leave some weird? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll let him know and see what he wants to do. I didn't notice that. All right, we'll get this in. I didn't think that would be a possible issue. I might have to, like, after I assemble this, I'm gonna send the customer pictures and then see what they want to do. Because honestly, they might want me to put the original one back in. All right, I'm gonna put this. So this, you have to make sure to tilt it so these little tabs in here go into the slots. Very important, okay? And it's a little tricky to do it while trying to record because then my head's gonna get in the way if I move too far forward. Okay, make sure that goes in all the way. Oh, that one's on top, so I need to lift this. Okay, let's redo this. Maybe it works better if I tilt it completely up like this and then slowly work it down. I don't know, because you also need to apply force here to help slide these in. I feel like this side's not going in right. Okay. I think that's good. Yep. Okay, so now that's in. Click these down. All right, and then go along the sides, click all of that in. And then again, before we had to kind of pull this down, so we're going to kind of repeat the same motion to click that back down. Okay, there we go. All right, I think we got all the clips in. Double check everything, looks good. Okay, let's double check the back here. This one's still not in all the way, so we might have to push this that way. Yep, okay, so I don't know if you could see how I was like pushing it to get that clip to move. All right, be careful not to pinch this smart card reader thing too hard. You don't want to bend that, but there we go. All right, so that's all locked into place. Let's go ahead and get all the little metal brackets and stuff back in. I don't think these had to come out to remove this, to be honest. So, yeah, all right. So we have this piece that goes over the SSD. And this, it slides over. So we got to start over to the left. Drop it down, slide it over to the right. There we go. And then we have this little metal bracket as well. This one just drops into place. Okay, let's grab the screws, get them back in. Yeah, I don't think these screws had to come out at all, to be able to do this. All right, and we are using the PH1 JS1 screwdriver again. Okay. Put this back in. Get this in. We got 2 more. All right. This one. And this one. All right, we got the 2 ZIF connectors here for the keyboard. So we're going to get those back in. All right, let's get the keyboard. It might be difficult to show this portion. Actually, okay. Line that up, get that in all the way. And then slide your finger over to latch it down. I don't know if you can see that. I did show this in the other video, so if you're not sure how to do this and you need a clearer view, let me know. I can send you that other video. Alright, same thing. Then this slides into place down here. Oops, sorry. This actually, the top goes in first. But be careful because the cable is short there, so that slides up. Oh, that didn't click in all the way. Okay, and then this lines up and slides down. Use the little areas between the keys to help slide that. Okay, there we go. That's good. We'll close this up. I don't know if it's the same because I feel like I can see more in these edges than before. So I don't know. Maybe the replacement part's not as good as I thought, even though it looked really good. Okay. So next thing we gotta do, we gotta replace the GPU in here. Okay. So in order to do that, we are gonna have to also redo the thermal paste, and we do need to disconnect the fan. Oh, let me actually show you guys replacing the fan connectors real quick, or disconnecting. So the fan connectors are here. They have little wings. So at the wings, I use my fingernails and just wiggle it like that, and you can see that wing there. That's how I pop it out. Right. You got the other fan on this side. So same thing. At the wings, just wiggle, and it should, there you go, eventually pop out. Okay, now let's go ahead and remove the heatsink. Okay, let's zoom out a bit more. Okay, I don't know if there's going to be a bunch of other screws or if it's just the heatsink screws. Let's go ahead and undo the heatsink screws, and then we gotta make sure. I like to undo them a little at a time, so that way it's not uneven force that's being pulled up on the screws. Okay, so I'm just doing a little at a time. We'll go backwards. Okay. And you do this until you hear the screws click in their spots. That's how you know that the screws came up all the way. Okay, you hear that click, hear that click, hear that click. Okay, once you hear it click, you know it's good. Alright, so there we go. We're going to kind of wiggle this. So I'm just rotating the whole thing side to side to basically break up the paste. And then you can carefully lift. So I'm wiggling it as I kind of pull up slightly. You don't want to put a lot of force because if you pull too hard, you can bend the heat pipes here, okay? So you just want to go very slowly. If it's not lifting up, it feels like the CPU portion's lifting up more, I'm going to go from here as well. And then while I'm kind of wiggling this, I'm going to lift from here. Again, very lightly. You don't want to put too much force. And I feel the whole thing is slowly lifting. Let's go from here as well. And there we go. All right, the paste is still soft, so I should be able to take this paste and then move that over to the new chip. I'm not exactly sure which chip this is, but let's go ahead and take a look at the replacement one that he bought. It's all wrapped up in bubble wrap here. Let that go. Okay. It's in an anti-static bag. Of course, you want to ground yourself. Make sure you don't have static built up to cause any damage with anything. And here we have this Harvest Put Away refurbished part. I think it doesn't say what. VGA board, NVIDIA RTX 4000 R Max. I don't know. Anyways, let's open this up. I don't know if there's actually I don't know what's in here. I mean, I'm assuming he did his research, so he knows should be a better card. This is what it, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Wow, there's a much larger die here, and then there's a lot more memory chips here. You can see all these as well. I don't know if I'm gonna need a different thermal pads and stuff for this, honestly. Okay, well, let's transfer this over here. Okay, let's set this down carefully. And it looks like there's a screw here, here, and here. So we got 3 screws. I don't know why. It looks like there's supposed to be a screw here, but there isn't one, so that's weird. All right, so get these 3 out. Wow, those screws are long. Okay, these are M2X8, it says. This one says M2X11, so that's supposed to be a longer screw. I don't know if that screw is, no, that's not from the bottom case, right? Maybe it goes through the bottom case. I don't know. Anyways, there we go. This is popping up slightly, and then you should be able to wiggle it to pull it out. And there we go. So here you can see them side by side. Again, you can see pretty big difference here. I am gonna have to clean at least the die because it's kind of looks greasy. But connector also has some weird gunk on it. I don't know if I can get that off. Let me set this one aside here. Okay. What's that? There's a little, like, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little white thing in the pins. I don't know if that's a scratch or what. Maybe it's some paste because it did brush off. Okay. I had to use a toothbrush to get that out. Alright, so here is the GPU. We're going to go ahead and slide this in. Goes in very easily, lowers down just as easily. And we're going to now get these screws back in. My worry is, oh shoot, I don't have these kinds of thermal pads. I need to let the customer know, because if I put this, multiple things of his the GPU memory is not going to have the thermal pads to fit this. So if that's the case, it might overheat. I don't know what the thickness of these pads are either. They're probably about 3 or 4 millimeters or so. This one's maybe about 2. This one's maybe about 5. So you can see how this is gonna kind of line up here. So if I flip this over, because the way the other chip goes, let me show you here. So you can see how these are further over this way and these are further over. I could technically cut the little pads to fit, or the long pad, because they just put a full length one to fit over these, and then it's just going to go directly over these chips. But what's that? It'll make about 8, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, but that's not going to be good if I just put it back directly that way. Let me show the customer, and then I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I did switch back the Palmrest, and you guys were probably going, hey, you forgot to plug back in the power cable. I mean the power button, I know. So here we go, we're going to plug this in. Yeah, the customer was saying, yeah, since it had that little dimple that it caused, to just switch back to the other one, which I figured. Alright, anyways, we'll get this cable back in. Alright, then latch that back down. We already have these in, and we'll tuck this back in. Okay, tuck that in and pull this back down. Hopefully I got all the clips back in right. I didn't double check this, but I think we got it. This side looks all good. Yeah, this one definitely looks like it hugs closer to the sides. Even though I can still see a little bit of that little tab there, it's a lot less visible. All right, so we're going to flip that back over. What I decided to do in terms of the video card, the customer told me they're going to basically, they won't use any crazy intensive graphic stuff for a bit, but they are going on a trip or something. So what I did, what I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, is basically I'm going to cut up the thermal pads to fit so I can use more. The only thing is the video RAM, the VRAM, all these little black chips here. I can't really make the pads completely cover. So what I'm going to do is, I brushed off all the excess gunk thermal paste that was in here because this was a refurbished used GPU. Okay, so I did clean off that gunk. You can see even just wiping the dye of it, it's leaving some gray stuff on there. So I'm going to clean that, dry that off. And basically what I'm going to do, because this computer is pretty much brand new, the customer pretty much just got it, this paste should all be pretty much still good. Yeah, that's still all very soft. Actually, maybe not. Not quite. Yeah, it's a little crunchy. So I'm going to clean this stuff off, I guess, and then put some new paste on it. Sorry, I'm cleaning off this stuff on the... I guess you can kind of see what I'm doing. Alright, anyways, I'm trying to clean off all this paste here. We're going to clean that off, and we're going to put new paste. I hope I have enough other thermal paste, because I wasn't expecting to have to repaste so much stuff here. Maybe that's just how this paste is. I don't know. Because they haven't had this very long. I don't think it should have dried up that quick. This must be like a PTM pad or something. Which, if that's the case, I should have just reused that. But, oh well, too late. Okay, so I already scraped this stuff off. So maybe they were using like the PTM pads. I think a lot of companies now are using that kind of stuff. And it does take a few like heat and cool cycles for it to completely start cooling well. All right, anyway, sorry, off to the side of the trash, just scraping off that stuff. Okay, and I measured the pads. I think the width of this GPU is about 80 millimeters, so I measured about 80. And then I think, what was it? I think this one is like 6 millimeters by 4 millimeters thick. And then the one for these chips is about 2 millimeters thick. And then these ones are about 3 millimeters thick. I could be wrong, but that's what I measured. So it was a little bit difficult to measure that. So yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but that's what I got from it. Okay, got all this gunk here we need to clean off. Okay, get all this gunk off. And clean it off. Hopefully the thermal pads, I can cut it up to make it useful enough. Okay, I'm going to just hold this over the trash can and get this old paste or pad or whatever it used to be on the GPU here off. Okay, clean that off. All right, now we're going to have to clean this up a bit with a little isopropyl alcohol. You gotta be careful, there's this little raised thing there, so you don't want to rip that off the CPU. There's that. Alright, and then the CPU stuff here. Clean it off. Make sure you don't put too much force on this. You don't want to bend the heatsink. Alright, look at all that we're cleaning off. Okay, it's cleaning off nicely. Not bad. Okay. There we go. We're good to go. I'm glad they didn't use liquid metal on that thing. Okay, so now what we're going to do for this, let me see. I need something to cut this. I'm going to use, hopefully this little one I have will work well. Okay, so I have this little metal toothpick cutter thing. I'm going to just clean it a little bit with isopropyl alcohol to make sure that I don't get any grease or anything on it. Okay. Alright. And we're basically going to have to cut little squares and stuff out here so that we can put it on each individual thing here. Okay. And hopefully that will be good enough to keep it cool. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to lift these pads off. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. Okay, so we're basically going to want to cut this long one into 7 pieces. I don't know if I have a thing that I can evenly... I think that... Is this long enough for me to put this on? Yep. Okay. So basically I'm going to want to cut this into 7 pieces. It's going to be a little tricky. How do I... Okay, let me do a little math here with a roller. I'll be back. I'm just going to cut up and then you'll see it. Alright, so basically I cut it up into about 7 millimeters a piece. As you can see, these ones are longer. It was about 50 millimeters long, so I needed 7 of them. So 7 times 7 is 49, right? So we had an extra millimeter. So I basically just cut them into like almost these squares. So now we just got to transfer these over. I mean, you can just grab it by hand, but I'm going to put each one individually on these little chips here. So let me see. I'm going to move this aside so you guys can see better what is going on. Okay, and basically we're just going to place one of these on each of these little pieces here. So technically, because I'm putting these directly on each one of these, I shouldn't really need to get new pads for this. Let me see if I can do it easier with the little thing. Okay, because basically we're covering each one of those chips. So actually I can rotate it sideways because the chips are kind of more vertical and the pieces I cut are rectangular kind of. So they're taller this way. So why not put it that way, right? Or is it now because it's on top of this black stuff? I don't know if that's going to cause some weird issues. But let's rotate it. Get on there. Okay, so let's continue blobbing these on there. I'm just gonna stick it on like this, the easier. Okay. It's a little tricky working with these. They want to fall over all over the place. Come on, stay on there. It doesn't want to stay on. Okay. It sticks to my finger more than anything. Come on. Okay. So, well, eventually I'll get like a long strip I can just run along here and run along that little piece. But for now, this should actually do really well. Okay. There we go. That's good. Okay, so now this one had 4. The problem is we have these tiny ones here as well. So I'm going to measure these, and then whatever excess I'll try and use for those little squares. So these squares are about, basically about 1 centimeter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters, and then whatever's left we'll use for that. So let me do that. I'll be back. Alright, this one was more tricky. There wasn't as much to spare because we went from 4 squares to 5 squares and these 2 tiny ones. So I did what I could, and this is what I came up with. These tiny ones are just going to get these little bit squares. So hopefully this will be enough here. Probably could have shaved it down a tiny bit more, but it was tough. Alright, anyways. We are going to eventually replace these, so it is what it is. These were close enough that I could have probably just almost left it a full strip, honestly, and then cut the excess off, but okay. We gotta do what we can. Alright, this one actually, let me rotate it. Almost make it like they're attached. It's almost like they're pretty much attached. Okay, we got these tiny ones that aren't gonna cover it completely, but hopefully it will help. Okay, now we got the memory chips. And the only thing I can do with that is split them in half, and hopefully that'll be good enough. All right. So I'm going to grab each one of those, split them in half, and then we're just going to throw them on there, kind of horizontal, or whatever the long way. Okay, so let me do that, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's go ahead and transfer these over. These are much smaller than the original pads, so we'll see. Okay. It's a little tricky to line that up too. I don't know. I hope this will work. Now I'm not directly over it, so it's kind of hard to tell. In the camera, it looks like that's like too far down, but I don't know. That's the best I can do with the limited resources I have and the limited time the customer needs it back in. So hopefully it gets the job done. Because it was that, or basically put the computer exactly back the way they brought it in. And the customer decided they wanted it. Okay, so there we go. We got that all set up. Let's go ahead now, get some paste on this, put it back together, power it up. Hopefully this works, because if this doesn't work, I did all that cutting up these pads for nothing. I'm gonna have to put it all back into the other one. That's gonna suck. All right, got some thermal paste here. Again, I need to upgrade to the PTM stuff, but for now I have some icy diamond. All right, and for this, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a blob in the center. Okay, I think this tube is empty now. Let's see, do I got any more? I got a tiny bit. Okay, I'm gonna try and put a little on the corners here. Okay, so this one will blob out, and then this will cover those. All right, this one we need kind of a long one. Let's go ahead and get that in there. Okay. Oh, I felt like I ran out of paste. There's actually plenty in here. That's a lot. Okay. Spread this out evenly. Like that. And I guess since I'm going to work on this again, we're going to probably put the PTM stuff and thermal pads. I guess this will be one of the few times that I get to lift the thing back off not too long after applying it and get to see how well the spread is. Okay, so there we go. Get that lined up, centered. There we go. Okay, customer's calling me, so they're probably asking if it's ready now. Let's go ahead and zoom out, and we'll get this thing, the GPU, or sorry, the heatsink back in place. Okay, so we'll line this up. Get this back in. Okay, we got this all cleaned up. We're gonna flip this over on top. Make sure everything lines up. Good. It's hard to tell. I can't see. There's no other things to line it up other than the fans, so we're just gonna have to hope that's right. Okay, we'll start with screw 1. Again, I like to twist backwards. You hear it click. All right, 1, 2, 3. We'll go to screw number 2. Click, 1, 2, 3. Screw number 3. Click, 1, 2, 3. Screw number 4. Click, 1, 2, 3. Number 5. Come on, is it not lining up right? What's going on here? Uh-oh, something's not right here. I'm not liking this. Why is this sticking up like that? Is the GPU that different? What is going on here? This is not lining up. It looks like the screws line up, but what is it resting on? What is it? Why is it sitting up like that? I guess let's undo this and take a look. I gotta see what's holding it that high. Don't tell me something is holding it up and now I'm gonna have to take it all out and redo because I didn't notice something with the GPU. Let's wiggle this loose again. Wiggle, lift it, wiggle. Come on. Come on, let go. The screws all the way out. They're out. Okay, what is hitting here? Oh, my thermal pad thingies are coming off. Come back on there. Back on there. Okay. You can see my the paste job is doing well. I just need to screw the other side down and it should go completely flat. But what is it hitting? What? Let go of my finger, please. Okay. What is it hitting? What's different? What's different? This? Is this stopping it? It shouldn't. this sticks up here. But this has the same thing on this side. That shouldn't be an issue. I don't understand. What is it hitting? Everything is flat. The card is installed properly. Let's put the touchpad cable. Am I gonna have to force the heatsink down more? Is that what's going on? There's another little pad there that's not doing anything. So this, when it sits, that's all raised up. That should be fine, right? Is that what it is? Oh, no. I mean, this portion has more stuff raised than the other one, but it shouldn't be hitting there. These seem to be pretty much the same height. So, do I just need to push down harder? Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. I guess let's give it a try again. It's hard to see where the screws are going. That's part of the problem. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, this time I rotated a tiny bit more that way. Let's see if that makes a difference. One, it's not lining up. Okay. Number one lined up. Let's see if I can somehow get this lined up first. Oh, okay. Now it's lining up, so okay. 2, 1, 2, 3. I don't know what was happening before. Is this one not lining up now? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. Why is this not? I'm so confused. Come on. What is happening here? Is it? Oh, it is lining up. Okay, 5. It's just not clicking for some reason. 6 and 7. Okay, I don't know why they're not clicking. Anyways, let's tighten this all the way down. First one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, okay, and seventh one. Alright, we got all those screws in. I don't know if you were able to see, hopefully you were. It looks like the pads are making contact under there, so we should be okay. Alright. Oh, it looks like this sticks out anyway, so that wouldn't even get full pad coverage even if I put a full length in there. Anyways, let's get the bottom cover back on, or sorry, battery first, but we do need to plug these fans in, line it up, push it down, line it up, push it down. Okay, then let's get the battery back in. I know I skipped a lot of these steps in the video because I did a video on this before, okay, and I didn't want to just repeat everything, so let's get these screws back in. Okay. 2. And the last one, 3. Wait. Okay, don't put the screw there. Put the screw here. Almost put the screw in the wrong spot. Okay, 1, 2, 3. They label it, so that's good. Then we get this bottom cover back on. Line everything back up. Make sure all of that's good. Click everything back in. Okay, that all looks good. That all looks good. Perfect. Alright, now let's get these screws back in. And we should be good to go. We'll power it up, make sure everything's good. Again, I like to twist backwards to hear it click first. Especially when the screws are held in place like this, because there's more chance that they're going to go in crooked. Okay. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you can watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I do have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. If you can subscribe to that channel, same profile picture but zoomed in, that'll be very grateful, very helpful, and I'll be very grateful. And yeah, let's go ahead and finish getting these screws in and then power it up and see if everything is good. I might have to plug it in for it to power on. We'll find out in a bit. Okay, let's get the last panel back in. Push those back down. Also, if you want to learn more about this model, again, I do have another video I made of this earlier, and I guess there's going to be a third video of this eventually where I put the actual size thermal pads. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to make a third video because it's just going to be the same thing, just using the right size thermal pads. If you see this video and you want me to make a third video, let me know. Maybe if at least one person says it, I'll probably do it. Alright, anyways, we'll power it on. I don't know if it will power on. Okay, it's powering on. I wasn't sure if I had to plug it in, but it looks like it's powering on. I didn't remove the CMOS BIOS battery, so it makes sense, but it is taking a while to come up. Hopefully it's not because of the new GPU. We'll find out. It's doing its cycle thing, so these lights are going doop 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 doop, and usually that happens when the BIOS or something, it detected something to reset. So let's see. Yep, there we go. We got the new one on. Let's press the enter key. I'm curious if it will show the video card in the BIOS. Pressing enter key. Come on, wake up. Let me do it. I did reconnect the keyboard. I'm sure of that. Oh, I guess. Oh, it's going to Ubuntu. Whoops. I forgot. This customer doesn't have the actual, don't have Windows on it. They have Ubuntu. So I guess we'll use this. The mouse is definitely working. Okay. Can I use this? Yep. Okay. Keyboard's working. We're going to restart. I'm going to restart. And I'm going to, please don't just boot straight to Ubuntu. Is it restarting or is it just going straight to Ubuntu? I want to see the BIOS. Come on, get out of this. Get off. What is happening? Am I going to have to shut it down? I think okay, I don't know what it's doing. I'm going to try F2 or delete, F2 delete, because enter didn't want to work. Oops. I don't know if I have to push the function key when I do it. I did restart. Did it just shut down? I think it shut down. Okay, no, it is restarting. It just took a while. Enter, enter, enter. There we go. Okay. Is it going to show me the GPU? Let's see. BIOS is F1. Okay, let me see. Config, I'm assuming. Does it say here? Where's the GPU information? Config. Oops, sorry. Display. Graphics device. Hybrid, discrete. Okay, I don't want to mess with that. That's something else. It doesn't tell me here what the graphics are. Because I think it's okay. I guess I'll have the customer log in and check it because I can't check it from here. So there you go. Again, hopefully this video helped you out. Thanks for watching. If you want a third part where I put new pads and put PTM on it, let me know. I mean, I'll probably make a video just specifically for the PTM thing anyways. So there you go. Let's drop this and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.